Well, I'm not sure exactly how we've managed this after 5 games. We are currently top of the league. Hello and welcome back to Club 3, part 12 of our Zero to Hero series, where we are, as I mentioned, top of the league. Us and Swindon, so the two teams that have got promoted, somehow find ourselves top of League 1. I don't think that will last forever, but it's nice to kind of acknowledge it while it is happening because, yeah, I don't think this is where we're meant to finish this season. I don't think this is where we are going to finish this season. Since you were last with me, obviously I haven't played through a lot of games just because I want to play the Plymouth match. Obviously, I've mentioned before, they're just down the road from me. It's always interesting to have a game against them. You'd also think that Plymouth should be one of the teams looking for promotion this season. We have a look at the season preview. Oh, no, they are 11th. I thought they'd be one of the teams looking for promotion. Apparently not. They're all the way down, predicted to finish 11th. Not actually that far above us. But then how much weight does this hold when we're meant to be 14th with first? Swindon are meant to be 20th, they're second. Peterborough about the only one that are probably in the right sort of place at the moment. But anyway, ignoring that, since you were last with me, we have played through a few more matches. We saw the Bradford City one last. We then beat Bristol Rovers 2-1. We lost to Everton in the Carabao Cup second round. However, let's have a look at this. It was a 0-0. They were definitely the better team on paper. I mean, look at the possession. We didn't see much of the ball, but we did hold them to a 0-0 draw, and it did take penalties for them to eventually beat us, and I think there's some positives to take from that. We then, directly after that one, due to team fatigue and maybe morale and stuff like that, lost 2-1 to Charlton in the league, but then we've beat Peterborough 3-1 in the Papa John's Trophy nonsense, and then beating Salford 2-0 in the league. We're actually doing all right. Today we're going to be playing against Plymouth and against Burton. We have just played a game midweek against Salford. So obviously, again, there's going to be rotation in this match. Stuff like that. Actually, I completely glossed over the fact we have new players. Let's go have a look at the new players. That's probably quite important. On the outside, nothing really happening. Kanate still wanting to leave the club, still not really getting any transfers for him. He had one bid from a foreign club for 180,000. He wasn't happy with the contract they offered him, so he never ended up leaving. But we have brought in, as we can see, 4 more players. The first of these we actually saw a little bit in the last episode. Shachai Sukdi, a Thai central midfielder, 18 years old, currently 3.5 stars ability. Potential to go all the way up to 5 stars if things go correctly. Currently League 1, potential to be Championship. I think he's a very, very good signing. He's done all right so far. 1 game in the league, 1 assist and a 7.4 rating. That would do very, very nicely. He cost us £450,000. We then also brought in, actually, let's do this in some sort of order, Lewis Nightingale. Another midfielder, English, again, can play kind of the same sort of role, at 19 years old. He came over from Exeter in their fantastic youth academy, made the jump up from the National League all the way to League 1, £375,000. But again, another one that's a League 1 standard player, potential to be Championship. Didn't do quite as well in his debut as Sukdi, but did all right. We then brought in a little bit more depth over on the right-hand side in the form of Romari Ford. He's on loan from West Brom this season. I don't think we're actually paying any of his wages at all. We are not. He's one we made on deadline day because, little tip for you guys, if you've not done it yourself, but all of a sudden on deadline day, all these Premier League clubs that won't loan you players without you paying 100% of their wages, an obscene amount, suddenly will give them to you for next to nothing. I mean, again, here's another one, Paul Robertson, also on loan from, he's on loan from Blackburn in the Championship, but we're not paying any of his wages because deadline day, I think teams just want to offload them and get them some football. It's a Scottish 19-year-old play up front. He's so far made 1 appearance and scored 2 goals and got an 8.3 rating. That appearance wasn't even a start. That was him coming off the bench and scoring both the goals against Salford. So although we want Oliver Iro to be playing up front because he's our player, it might be that Robertson ends up playing there. We'll keep an eye on that one. So a little bit more depth all round in terms of the team. This is the team that's going to be facing Plymouth today in the league, it is Brian in goal. We've then got Sedon, Matteson, Wiggett and Daly Campbell as our back four. Wiggett having to come in because a lot of our other central defenders are either tired. So Fagan Walcott, I think, is tired at the moment. Pickles not quite fully fit. We've then got Jones and Suckdy in midfield. You can see as well we've made some changes here. So this is now a deep-lying playmaker on defend. And that's just because, obviously, when Nightingale plays there, that's how he likes to play. It's also Jones's best position, so it just makes sense. It means we're sacrificing a little bit because we had a ball-winning midfielder there. Hopefully, that's not too much of an issue. We've then got Kanate over on the left. That's now an inside forward. Vangelis through the centre. Ford over on the right and Iro up front. Vangelis as well, actually. This position change is now an attacking midfielder rather than a playmaker because of the deep line playmaker midfield. And I didn't really want two playmakers that close together. As I mentioned, there's definitely some rotation in the team today. Robertson not really fully fit enough to play the entire match. Nightingale's out. Konechny, or however we say his name, isn't playing as well. He's not been as good as we hoped he would be. And also we can see now he's dropped some stars just due to other players coming in. McDonald not fully fit. Lots and lots of players basically are not in this team today. So it'll be interesting to see as well if a rotated team can go and get a result against Plymouth. We'd kind of hope they could, but we're also where it's a rotated team, and rotated teams do tend to struggle. You kind of have your first 11 and you will find sometimes that you've not got quite as much depth outside the team. I think we're a lot better than we were, definitely in the final third of the pitch. Maybe in defence we could do with a little bit more depth there, a little bit more quality to come into the team, but I think we're all right, and there's obviously a limit to what you can do based on how much transfer budget we had and wage budget and all of that stuff. We are still under the wage budget, even with all these new signings, so that's quite nice. If you do enjoy today's episode, of course, we're going to pop that one in early. If you do enjoy today's episode, please do drop a like down below. It would be very, very much appreciated and helps the engagement on the channel. Right, now let's go back to Plymouth. I mean, again, they're down the road for me. I quite like Plymouth. We're playing in pink today because of it. We're away at Plymouth, so this game is literally happening around the corner from me. I can hear it now. So it'd be nice to go and beat Plymouth. I mean, that and just to keep on a good run of form. We're first currently. If we could keep doing that, that'd be lovely. Suckdy there, taking absolutely no chances and just thumping it along. It has come back into the box though. Plymouth getting a crossover. Oh my God, that was very messy. That was very, very messy. It was cleared. It wasn't cleared. It bounced off a defender. It's gone out for a corner. Plymouth with the first corner of the game. 3 minutes in now. Neil going to be taking that one. And Sol Bryan just comes out and claims that one, as you would expect a goalkeeper to do. Apparently, Kanate's just murdered someone on the edge of the box and given away a free kick. And if we just not do stuff like that, we're looking a little bit cagey early on in this affair. I'd quite like us to go and take some control now. Would be lovely. We're top of the league, guys. Can we act like we're top of the league? Come on, we don't want to be found out this early in the season. What we really want to do is have a really good first half of the season. So when we get our inevitable collapse in the second half of the season, it doesn't hurt as much and we still finish mid-table and not in the relegation zone. I mean, based on early indications, Woodrow's through here. Woodrow is through. It's 1-0 to Plymouth. We're not very happy with that. But hey ho, there's not a lot we can do about it now. 30 minutes in, Plymouth get their first goal of the game. And I feel like we need to potentially make some changes here because we're offering very, very little. That was just such an easy goal for them as well. And I mean, Sol Bryan is fantastic, bless him. But I don't think he really stood a chance there from that sort of angle. Right, what do we do here? Because we can't leave it like this. I mean, Plymouth are all over us. So what do we do? I feel like we get rid of this as well. Probably don't need focus down the left and the right anymore because we're playing through the centre and we've got that central attack and midfield. I think that's like a hangover from our previous tactic. We'd do that. I'm going to make a bold shout and just drop to cautious for the rest of this half in the hope that we gain some control through the rest of this half and can, you know, go and get 3 points out of this. Or a point. I'd take a point against a team like Plymouth, to be honest. Because, again, I feel like although the season preview is sort of saying they should finish down in 11th, etc., etc., I feel like they're a team that's good enough to, you know, wipe the floor with us. So 1 point, probably quite reasonable for us. We have had a second shot now. So that's nice, but we don't really seem to be doing a huge amount here. And Kanate, this is the problem as well with having Kanate on. I didn't really have anyone else to put here because of tiredness, but he's on a 6.2, and I kind of think for the rest of this season, if we can avoid having him on, then maybe we avoid having him on. Instead, we're going to take Iro over here. We're going to put Paul Robertson up there. Maybe he can do something. It just means Kanate's off the field because he just doesn't seem committed enough to the team anymore. Robertson's going to come on over on that right-hand side. I think that's the right decision to make for the moment. We just confirm those changes. We're going to go to a positive mentality and encourage the team a little bit. I don't think there's been a highlight in the second half yet. Here is the first one. Sukdi taking a corner, looking for, I believe, the head of Matteson, not really finding him. Iro has picked up possession, swung it back into the box. Paul Robinson, that man scored 2 on his debut. He's come on and scored a foot. Oh, it's not going to count. Oh, the absolute letdown there. It doesn't count. Right, Robertson, I just did all of that for you. I was singing your praises. You need to go and score one now and show everyone how good you are. Iro cutting in from that right-hand side, left-hand side, cutting in from the left to the right. I know what I'm on about, honestly. I'm a big boy. I can tell my left from my right. It's not a problem. We do need to make some substitutions here, though, because everyone is looking a bit tired. Aaron Pickles can come on for Matteson. Okadina could probably come on as well, to be honest. Wiggett needs to stay, but so he can come on for Daly Campbell because he can play there. And then we need to make another substitution. We've got Baker Boatey, we've got Danny Smith, and we've got Hackney. I feel like Hackney probably comes on for Jones there. And we just encourage the team, and we hope that Robertson comes up with some absolute magic here like he did in the last game, and we can go and get a goal. As it turns out, we've actually done better on stats overall in the match, but that first half has completely let us down, and it is a 1-0 win to Plymouth, which is probably a little bit more what we were expecting out of this season, rather than finishing top of the league. It does still mean we're 4th. We've got, what will that be, 4 wins, 2 losses so far, 12 points on the board. I'll take that. I don't take the fact that Swindon are top. Swindon are going to be our rivals. Obviously, they are rivals, but they are going to be a concern for this entire save, I think. Iro, we need to have a chat with you, buddy. We need to start playing to a higher standard if you want to keep being in the team, because Robertson is breathing down your neck. And realistically, I will put him in there, loan or not, because I want to get promoted this season. That's a very bold, ambitious shout. But I want to do something good this season. And if that means dropping you and putting Robertson in, then I will 100% do it. Let's get over to that match against Burton. So not too much happening in between these two matches then. The only major thing is we have been allowed to bring another coach in. We asked the board because some of our coaches are really, really stretched. Looks like we're bringing in Michael Carrick, which I feel like is quite a good little coach signing as well. He's pretty decent all round. Obviously has a really good reputation. I mean, he's got a minimal reputation. I feel like that is some sort of bug, because surely people know who Michael Carrick is. Maybe he's got a minimum reputation as a coach, but surely people know who he is. Anyway, this is going to be our lineup today for the match against Burton. It is Sol Bryan in goal, back 4 of Smith, Matteson, Fagan, Walcott and Daly Campbell. It is Nightingale and Sukdi in the midfield. Iro, Vangelis, McDonald and Paul Robertson are front 4. We are starting to get players back as well. Bigotto is able to play 75 minutes today. We've also got Kabaya coming back, but he's not quite fully fit yet. He's a bit of an issue. I mean, I don't believe it says on his report anywhere. It doesn't say he'll have a problem with injury, so maybe he's just got unlucky, but he literally came back after 3 weeks after getting that injury against Grimsby on the first day of the season, and then got injured again straight away in training. You can see the cause is a relapse, so he's literally played 1 match for us so far. I'd quite like to get him back in the team eventually, but MacDonald has been playing quite well, so at the moment it's not too much of an issue. But I would like to get him back in the team. He's definitely one of our better players, at least on paper at the moment. We haven't had too much of a chance to have a look at him to determine whether or not he is actually one of our better players, or if he's just another one that is going to end up sitting on the bench because he looks really good on paper, and then when you actually play him, doesn't really perform too well. We have got a free kick here. I almost missed it because I was telling Vangelis to ease off tackles after his yellow card really early on. Nightingale is going to be taking the resulting corner from that free kick. If he could just swing it into the near post, that'd be lovely. To Fagan Walcott, he does manage that, but Fagan Walcott's header is miles away from the goal. Not really what we're looking for here. We've got another yellow card, Connor Matheson this time, but we're not going to tell him yet to ease off the tackles because we've got a highlight going on. That ball into Finney McDonald, looking for someone in the centre, not finding anyone. Now Burton going on the counter-attack, albeit very, very slowly, not with as much pace as I anticipated. Matheson nodding that one away to Vangelis, who brings it down, passes it out to Smith, back over to Suckdy. Can we get the ball into the box here? We can. Into Iro. Iro, after telling him that he needed to sort himself out and start scoring some goals, does manage that today, playing off of the left wing rather than up front. Maybe that's the future for Oliver Iro, playing on one of the wings. Suckdy here, just waiting, seeing the run of Iro in the box, who hits it with a lovely volley, puts us 1-0 up. Again, is it against Burton? Who we play? We are playing Burton. Someone explain to me why Burton, their 3 letters up here is BAL. Because I don't see any L's or A's in Burton. We'll just ignore that. We don't know why it's BAL for Burton. Who knows? Swindon are still top of the league, beating Peterborough 1-0 as it stands. I cannot believe that Swindon are the team top of the league. If they had like a takeover or something that I don't know about, and that's why they're just absolutely running away with all of these leagues. They were obviously our main problem last season, as it turned out. I'd quite like them not to be our main problem in League 1 as well as League 2, but it looks like that's going to be the case. Suckdy here, out wide to Smith. It's basically a replica of the last goal. Iro into Robertson. Robertson with his 3rd goal of the season. Lovely, lovely build-up play there from all of the players involved. Suckdy's having a lovely game so far. Not getting the assist, but definitely being a big part of that one. Suckdy over to Smith, as we saw. Like we said, Smith, loads and loads of space into Iro. Much the same as last time, but this time he crosses for Robertson to put us 2-0 up. That is some great football, ladies and gentlemen. We are liking this. Robertson seems like a really, really good loanee. We're going to have a look at him because if he's going to perform like this all season, then we'd quite like to have him next season as well. And we're unlikely to get him on loan 2 seasons in a row. That just doesn't seem like it's a thing. But I think if we go and have a look at Robertson quickly, he is valued at quite a lot of money. Yeah, 4.7 million at his top end is probably a little bit expensive for us at the moment. At least we've got him to the end of the season. We'll see where we are after that. I mean, we might get promoted and get given a huge bag of cash by the board. That would be nice. Seems unlikely, but it would be nice. And then we could sign players like Robertson and just take this team up to the championship and do well there as well. Nightingale looking for Fagan Walcott. He does kind of find him. The ball's just bounced around everywhere, somehow fallen to Paul Robertson, who's got another goal in this game, his 4th of the season in 3 games. He's, like I just mentioned, turning out to be quite a game, but what a mess here. Look at this. Fagan Walcott, it's just headed everywhere. Robertson is just there ahead of the goalkeeper to poke that one home. Not that you can actually see that all that well off of that replay, because the amount of mess that was happening. Right, we can make a couple of substitutions here. I think Okadina can come on for Matheson, who's on a yellow card. Bigotto can come on for Iro. Not that he's playing badly, but we just like to play him. And Konecki can come on for Vangelis there. And that's 3 substitutions, all kind of fitness ones, getting players that aren't fit back into the team. Maybe players like Konecki, we're just trying to get some performances out of him. I think he needs some time to embed into the team. I mean, we've seen that with Vangelis. Vangelis didn't look bad last season, but he seems to be a different player this season, popping up with goals, popping up with assists, and just generally being an absolute nuisance for the opposition. So it's taken him like a season or so to embed, even though we didn't realise that that was what was happening. Hopefully, kind of the same thing here is happening with Konecki. We just need to keep playing him, and eventually he'll embed with the team and trying to get used to how we play and just be a better player. Bigotto there trying to get on the end of that one, not managing it, but then does manage it eventually, which is quite nice. Nightingale, Suckdy, Finney McDonald here from range, but not really troubling the goalkeeper there very much, was he? Never likely to get that one on target. He's not exactly a player that scores from range, right? Fagan Walcott could come off. We have got no one springing on for him. Daly Campbell then can come off. Sean Robertson can come on, and Suckdy is going to come off for Callum Jones to come on as well as we enter the last 10 minutes of this tie with a really, really good performance. Swindon still beating Peterborough 1-0. So they're going to be top of the league at the end of this, with us chasing. This seems very similar to the end of last season, and I like it about as much as I did last season. That's quite nice though. Second in the league after 7 games. I think we would take that. Automatic promotion spots. Lovely, lovely stuff. Fagan Walcott, we'll just give him a little nice pat on the head, and we look to the matches in the future. I think the obvious one here is to play through these games and come back for the Swindon games. So maybe we come back for Millwall and Swindon, I think is the most likely. We play through all of these games. Swindon could be quite a big match. We'll be playing that one either way because of the fact that it's our rivals, but the fact that they're top of the league ahead of us by 3 points makes that one even more important. Of course, if you have enjoyed today's episode, guys, please do drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and thank you very much for watching.